Hello and welcome back. This is Sidetrack. We are currently in the middle of a mod tutorial on Tinker's Construct, a mod by MDio. What we are going to do in this mod is look at materials that are used and look at their abilities and then look at modifiers. So we've talked before about how to make tools. What we're going to do today, or in this episode, is talk about how to make useful tools. So to do that, I have several things set up. Um, First thing is, like I always say, make sure you've looked at your materials in U-Book. You've gone through, I know you have, because you're curious about this stuff. You've read about all these different things. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory. I mean, a dagger, you poke things with it. Some of them are a little jokey, like the battle sign. um, and then some of them get more complicated. Um, so as you go through this stuff, if you look at your regular tool station, these are your tier 1 tools and weapons. Your tool forge, you've got your tier 2s up top and the tier 1s at the bottom. So we are going to look at some of this stuff. So skip through all these. One thing you have to be aware of is that a good majority of materials have traits. The traits can be anything. They can be reinforced, a chance not to use up durability. They can be stone bound, which means as the durability gets used, it mines faster, but it does less damage. I want you to think about that. You probably don't want to use something that is stone bound for a weapon, because as it takes durability damage, as you use it, it will do less damage. Not very useful. Jagged, on the other hand, is the opposite of stone bound. As it loses durability, it does more damage, but it mines slower. So you don't want to use jagged for a tool, like a pickaxe, but it works great for weapons. And the stonebound and the jagged abilities actually do make a pretty noticeable difference. Writable lets you add one extra modifier per piece that is writable. We'll talk about modifiers in a minute. Alright, so we go through, and I am not going to baby you with walking you through all of these materials. I do want to hit on a couple of points though. So each of these will tell you their durability. As you might expect, durability of wood is very low, 59. You'll see on some of these other, it gets much higher. The handle modifier. Essentially what the handle modifier is if you make a handle out of this material, the total durability will be multiplied by this amount, or I should say the durability will be multiplied by this amount. So wood, it's not going to hurt to make a handle out of wood. Tells you the full tool durability if you're making basic tools. It will tell you the mining speed, 2.0, as you might guess, because its wood is very slow. Can mine up through stone, just like any wooden pickaxe. And it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So as you go through these, you'll find that all these abilities, or all these innate properties, change. Typically, as you go through, your durability is going to increase as you get to some of the harder to get things like alumite. But the other thing I want to point out is some of these natural material abilities. So stone, as makes sense, is stone bound at level 1. Iron is reinforced at level 1. Cactus is where you get the jagged ability at level 1. Obsidian, reinforced level 3. That's nice to have sometimes. The only downside to obsidian is that if you make a handle out of obsidian, or well, several other parts, as you play around with it you'll find out, it will actually reduce the total durability, which is kind of a drag. So be careful where you put obsidian. And you kind of go through a lot of these. I want to point out Cobalt has the fastest mining speed at 11.0, and Manilium has both the highest handle modifier at 2.5, and it does the most damage at 2 hearts. Things to think about. Now, there are some other things in here, and these things are called alloys. I just want to, briefly go through and talk about alloys. So in order to make an alloy, you're going to take and mix different metals. So if you wanted to say make alumite, alumite is made from 5 aluminum, 2 iron, and 2 obsidian. Well, I just so happen to have 5 aluminum, 2 obsidian, and 2 iron. And just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to throw this into my smeltery and let it cook for a while. As that goes, we'll talk about some other things. You can see I've already made this purple is manilium, the gold is aluminum brass, and we'll come back to that later. Alright, so on to making useful tools. So if I go and look at the tool forge, I've actually already laid out a pickaxe for us. This is going to be an iron pickaxe. It's got an iron pickaxe head, an iron binding, and an iron rod. And if I were to go ahead and make this, it tells me that it would have 324 durability, 6 mining speed, and it can mine up to redstone. So this is fairly equivalent to a regular iron pickaxe. Now the fun thing is that I'm going to go ahead and make this. Ooh, shouldn't have done that. Alright, now we've made it. It says it's reinforced 1, and if you look in your book, iron has an ability of reinforced 1, so it makes sense that the final pickaxe would have that ability. Now you look here and it says that it has 3 modifiers remaining. Well, what is a modifier? Well, make sure you go and look in your book all the way at the end, and you will get to this section on modifiers. You can add different things to the diamond, or different things to your weapons and tools. You can add diamonds, you can add emeralds, you can add redstone, and we're going to go through some of this. So right now, the mining level of this pickaxe is redstone. If I were to add a diamond to it, you'll notice that the texture changes, which I think is awesome. It tells you that you've lost 1 modifier, and you can now mine all the way up through obsidian. That includes diamonds. So if you're like me, you find your first couple diamonds and they're, really a big deal. You don't want to use them for anything. But now you can make a pickaxe that can mine that obsidian that you want for your nether portal, and you only have to use 1 diamond to do so. Hey, that's not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to add it to here. You'll notice that the durability also increased. So what else can we do here? Well, I've got this ball of moss. What the heck does a ball of moss do? You code it on here, adds moss, and now it has an auto repair ability. So you now have a pickaxe that can mine all the way up through obsidian, and it will automatically repair itself as, after you use it. So iron doesn't mine that fast. It's only got a mining speed of 6. So what can we do about that? Well, we can take this block of redstone. You could also take regular redstone. This will add it by 1. The block will change it by 9. And then just kind of click through here. And it takes a lot of clicking, especially for some of the other things. We'll get this all the way up to 50. Alright, now there are no more modifiers, so I can't add any more redstone here, but you'll look, the mining speed is 10. So let's increase the mining speed by a significant amount. It now auto-repairs itself, and it has a higher durability than it did before. So, let's take a look at this. How fast does it mine? Well, these are iron blocks, so, it's not too shabby. And you'll see that it is, durability has been damaged. It's 1% durability loss, a little less than that. But if you keep your eye on that, before the end of this video, it will probably be back to full. Alright, so that's a basic iron pickaxe. And, oh, hey, there it's at full already. Iron pickaxes are fun and all, but let's do something more fancy. You've gone to the nether, you've, found some cobalt. You've made yourself some cobalt casts, and then various pickaxe heads. Pickaxe head, binding, and the rod. So this could make you a nice cobalt pickaxe. You'll see that the mining speed is 11, the durability is much higher than the iron pickaxe. It can mine all the way up to cobalt. I should mention that in order to get to actually mining cobalt without having cobalt, you're going to need to make an alumite pickaxe head. Um, all right, so right now, what else can I do with this? This says it's reinforced 2. It's, perfectly respectable pickaxe. However, what if I wanted to change it a little bit? What happens? Hey, maybe I want to add a manilium head. What is that going to do? Well, you can see the durability jumps a ton, and it can mine all the way up to manilium. Now, this does not occur naturally, so being able to mine up to it is kind of a novelty at this point. Um, and personally, I'd rather have a faster mining speed. Um, I don't care so much about durability. I like to be able to mine quickly. But that's personal preference. This is why I'm not going through all of the myriad of things that you can do with this. What else can you do? Well, I can change the rod. What happens if I change the rod? If I put a slime rod on here, slime is going to increase the durability. It's got a slightly higher handle modifier than cobalt. Not too bad. Can't complain about that, and it looks a little cooler. It's purple and or green and blue. What else can I do? Well, I've got this obsidian binding, and if you remember, obsidian changes and adds reinforced. I suppose I should mention, I've got an obsidian rod. If I put the obsidian rod in here, I want you to watch what happens to the durability. It goes way down. So be careful where you put obsidian. I mean, that's a huge decrease. Um, but what if I take and use an obsidian binding? Because I want that reinforced 3 ability. So if I put an obsidian binding in, it doesn't change anything. You get a little bit of purple right there, but that is it. And now I have reinforced 3. I've got good durability, good mining speed. Hey, that's not a bad pickaxe. Not the best pickaxe in the world, but it's very great. Wouldn't complain about it. Um, and then you can go about modifying it and doing whatever you want, kind of like I did with mine. This one, if I were to put it in here, you can see that I have 450 lapis lazuli in there. It gives it fortune 3. That's a lot of lapis lazuli, but it's well worth it. I put some haste on there, so it's got a mining speed of 19.49. It's stone bound because I have an ardite handle, and reinforced 3 because ultimately it's pretty similar. It's got the cobalt head and an obsidian binding. So just to show you, this is my awesome sword that I'm really, really pleased with. It's got jagged, so I actually have cactus on the, I think it was the crossbar I made out of cactus. Reinforce 3, sharpness, fiery, and smite. So you can see I used 216 quartz. That took a little while to get. Well, it would if I weren't in creative. 25 blaze, that sets things on fire. 36 of smite. That does extra damage to undead. So this is a wonderful, wonderful sword that I'm really enjoying. And it's just kind of, I'm sure it's not the best thing you can do, but it works very well. So, let's see. This is we can come back here and you can see that we've got this nice pink stuff in here. What is it? Well, that's the alumite that we worked with. Remember I said, what was it, 5 aluminum, 2 obsidian, 2 iron? All those are fairly easy to get, and this will give you a nice pickaxe, sword, weapon, until you get to the nether and can get your hands on the cobalt and the ardite, because those are kind of hard to find. So alumite's a great stand-in for those before you get there. It's a nice thing to make. Let's see. Have I missed anything in this making of parts? I think we're pretty good. Hopefully this tutorial has helped you out. Hopefully you have a little bit better understanding of the materials, of the modifiers, and just generally making good tools, weapons, what have you. Again, you're going to want to reference this materials in you because I didn't cover most of what's in here. I'm letting you discover it for yourself. If you have specific questions, please feel free to post a comment and I'll be happy to respond with whatever limited knowledge I actually have. But go through, read, look at these, and experiment. Play around with it. And one thing to note, just so you're aware, if you make, say, a cobalt rod, never mind. If you've got extra iron, gold, armor, swords from vanilla Minecraft. You can throw them in here and they'll melt down. Um, I thought you could do that with the parts, but I guess you cannot. Sometimes my brain doesn't work. All right, well, I think I've rambled on for long enough. This is Sidetrack signing off. You guys have a great day.